Hey, welcome to the recap show. We are QOTD, the question of the day show, the game show where you get to be on the air. You can join us by recording your video answers to daily awesome questions.
And make sure to vote for your favorite answers to determine who makes it to the weekly Big Show Championship that happens on Thursdays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
We're going to show you how to make it on the air for Thursday's Big Show. And we're also going to take a look at one of our favorite fan answers to today's QOTD, which takes us from whining and dining and dinner and dancing straight to Dateline.
Hey, can I ask you guys a question? Like, where did the memo go out that we had to jest like a jazz band?
They were in the production notes.
Oh, man. I went gray. I'm just not there. I feel like unhit, man, and not cool.
You don't have a date tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I see where we're going with that. By the way, JJ, you've got like a whole date look going on there. I really like it. Dick with that look.
No, I'm prepared. I'm giving the viewers an idea of what it looks like to be on a date with me, just in case, anyone wants to reach out and give. Subtle. But before we get into what today's question is, we have some very good hints. We should first get into this week's answer leaders, beginning with Friday's question, which is, what book or movie has impacted you the most? Books and movies, I think, are just the perfect mediums to be influential on people's lives, whether they read good books or movies as kids, or they're just seeing these things now that completely change their perspective on their lives. Allie, Alan, and Caitlin have some great answers, but we want to hear yours.
Well, books are pretty influential, but I'm more of an experienced person. And thus, Saturday's question is, if you could go on a road trip, man, with anybody, living or dead, who would you go on that awesome cross-country or whatever road trip was? Back in the 60s, there was this awesome show called Route 66, and they were two jazz guys. They drove across the country in their Corvette, stopping off and having adventures every single week, kind of like us. These are our top answers so far. I don't know whether Emmanuel, Enrique, and Mishak are driving a Corvette or whatever, but the people that they go with are kind of illuminating. So they deserve to be 1, 2, and 3.
And here are the top 3 answers for Sunday's question. What makes your family different and wonderful? We're just coming off of Passover and Easter and Ramadan. So most of us have had lots of family gatherings that remind us of what makes our clan the coolest. And here are some of those answers.
Yes, hope everyone had good celebrations and good events so far. I think Ramadan, the feast is not coming up soon. So
it's ongoing. It's 30 days. We're about halfway through.
Halfway through. Okay.
Cool. Good to know. Well, we can move on to Monday's question, which is life hacks. What's the best method to making the perfect cup of coffee in honor of Mondays? They're hard to get through without a little caffeine. So Angel, Frank, and Lashane had some really good recipes for people. So we want to hear your answer. It's really kind of a public service announcement. Just like, okay, if you need some help getting through the day, keeping that energy up, here's how you can do it.
Well, back in jazz clubs, they drink a lot of European style coffee, like espresso and cappuccino, man. Yeah, so it's very fitting. Well, here we finally are, right? It's today's question of the day, big reveal. So with no further ado, today's QOTD is, what is your absolute worst first date story? I got to tell you, if you've ever been on a date, you have a first date. And if you've been on a first date, you definitely have a worst date. Some are worse than others, though. I got to tell you, I've had some doozies. I really have. I got to tell you, my worst one, my date just put her head down on the table and just cried throughout the meal. She was imagining her life with me or something like that. I don't know.
Did you just keep eating?
I poured myself another glass of wine and I relished the moment because I knew that I would remember it. And here we are, 35 years later, still talking about it. She's a very nice person. It was me. It wasn't you. How about you, JJ? You got a really terrible date story?
I actually don't yet. I'm young, so there's still time. And maybe that worst first date is out there and I'll have the best story to tell. But I actually have some answers from fans instead, because even though we have some great answers, they also have some really great answers, and the question, even though the question's just a few hours old. So I wanted to highlight one of our favorite answers to today's question so far, and we go to Bella for First Date Blues. Yes, that is the name of the superlative. Let's take a watch.
Okay, this one's really easy. The worst first date I ever had, I went to this Irish pub with this guy who I barely knew. I was 16, and the entire time, for 3 hours, he talked about why he didn't believe in evolution. And I stayed. I was so brave at 16 for staying. I stayed the entire time. I was just like, this is the worst thing ever. So I'm sorry, Tyler. No second date.
No evolution on the menu. The special here at Finnegan's is flat Earth.
You know, I was talking about flat Earth during my bad date. Maybe that's what was going on there. I put that in my tips for future dates.
Were you guys 16 at an Irish pub, though?
No.
Did we pick up on that?
Yeah, no.
Well, hey, maybe if you talked about how the moon landing was fake, then the date could have gone a little better.
Don't get me started.
Talking about, like, you know, the big conspiracy. They're like, they say they landed on the moon, but man, that didn't happen. No. Of course it happened.
Well, as we've highlighted, today's question is not the only one you can answer. Bella had an incredible answer, but we have 4 other questions worth of amazing answers, and we have another amazing one from Saturday's question, which was if you could go on a road trip with any person living or dead, who would it be? So receiving the honor of Pitch Perfect Passenger, we have Becca's answer.
For this question, I feel like I have to channel my inner fangirl from like 3 or 4 years ago. I still am a huge fan. I have to say Ariana Grande. She is such a good singer, and I would just love to sit in a car and drive up the mountains and listen to her sing for like 8 hours straight. That sounds like a dream.
You know what? That is a really great answer to your dream road trip passenger, because Ariana Grande is known for her expertise at mimicking other artists. So she can do anyone, Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, everybody. So you'd actually get like a full concert.
Hank Williams, maybe.
Maybe. Well, fans, you've got 2 days left to submit your own answers for your very own chance to appear on the Thursday Big Show. That's our super fun finale. It's hosted by Keith, JJ, Reed, and I. We go over the best of the best videos all week. And that's every Thursday morning at 8:30 on YouTube, Twitch, and right here at beyondtheair.com.
To record your answer, you can go to beyondtheair.com and click the orange record button under the 24/7 live game stream. And remember, you can still answer today's question or any of this week's other questions to let us know about your worst first dates, your best road trips, and for your chance to be on the air with us.
So it's super to like recap such a great week like this. There's so many really, really awesome questions to answer. I'm really pumped up. Have you guys answered this week?
Not yet, but I will.
I think it's okay. Let's definitely go in there. I want to know about your road trips and your worst dates. So, you know, click that big orange record button right under our 24-hour live game stream, as we like to say. But while you're there, everybody, make sure to play the Guess and Bid game. The Guess and Bid game is where you bid stars on the answers that you think are going to win. And then when they do, you go up the leaderboard like these folks right here. And then you'll appear right here on our daily recap.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and a special thank you to everyone who has watched, voted, and recorded so far this week. We are QOTD and beyondtheair.com signing off, and we'll see you on TV.
Bye, everyone.
So, JJ, how about a little song?
Ah!